Good morning.
Good morning.
Ooh, we're in for it. I just checked the radar. Coming in. Gonna have it all day, I think. All right. I was thinking about a story this morning and I didn't read the book. There's a book called Mice and Men. So this week, were we mice or men? Forget the pronoun shit. I don't care about that. Did we make our contacts? Did we not make our contacts? That's what today is about. Accountability Friday.
Apparently the weather affects accountability because we're lacking on that side this morning.
We have 15 people in the room. I guess they're all afraid to report now. We're getting too mean.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Everybody's afraid of the weather, Jeff. Nobody showed up today.
I know I was getting blown around out there. It's crazy. There's my cat.
Oh, that doesn't happen.
Boom, boom, boom.
Great day to stay in and follow up and continue to make contacts.
Great day to talk to people.
Mhm.
All right, we got a couple good topics today, but I bet you we've got some good successes to hear about.
Let's hear successes first. We got some topics too, because Drunk Monkey is running rampant.
I've been pushing, I've been having a lot of success pushing the down payment assistance and the replay of the investment.
Good for you. High five.
Yeah, so I'm counting those as contacts as well. So where I didn't, I mean, I'm sure I text all day, every day. So I'm sure I made them, but I've been pushing out a lot more emails and copy and pasting Brooks information, because when I came across that hurdle and brick wall with the divvy, as I forwarded you that email, that I just, I know that Brooke can get it done. I mean, the Divvy and Home Partners are no longer an option at this moment. So, and I know she is getting people approved that never even dreamed that they could get approved, including one of my clients, and looked like 2 years, and she's got issues owing the IRS, and she's got her approved. So, I mean, it's there, she leaves no stone unturned, and that is where we need to be directing our focus with the down payment assistance and that replay for the investment opportunity.
Money. Lauren, kudos to you. We don't make this stuff up for no reason, right? We're trying to introduce opportunities to get you guys to engage and talk to people. And you're doing that and you're seeing results. And that's the goal, right? And but what's unfortunate and fortunate at the same time is you're getting results too fast. We should be, prospecting for a long time and then get results. But you're prospecting now and you're getting results now, which is going to set an expectation that every time you prospect, you expect results. But that's not the case. All you're doing is planting seeds. I'm eating lettuce out of my garden right now, but I planted it 3 months ago, right? If I was wanted to eat yesterday, if I planted a seed yesterday, I wouldn't eat. So what you're doing right now is benefiting you now, but wait till you see what's going to happen 30, 60, 90 days from now. Right? Because it's not the people you're talking to, it's the people you're talking to who they know and who they're talking to. So you're doing the right things. Awesome job.
Well, we're planting seeds and somebody's putting Miracle-Gro right on them. So
Good example. I like it. Hey guys, success is not getting a result. Success is taking the activity. So who had some successes this week?
Good morning, it's Andrea. I'll go.
Okay.
I'm kind of on the same boat as Lauren. I actually last month pushed out the Moxie blast email with the down PPA program. And when I pushed that out, I mean, like I mentioned before, it brought back to life a few of my buyers.
Mhm.
I have like 5 pre-approvals, I believe. Yeah, with them right now. The issue is finding the property, as you know, with the
Right.
low, inventory. So yes, I'm up against that. However, I did push out one of the text messages. I mean, several of the text messages, but I did get one, and it was from a friend, a cousin actually in Maine. A friend flew down last weekend, took her to look at some condos, and hopefully we'll be writing an offer this morning. So did get attention with that. So basically just pushing those out. And then I did push myself to do a video, and with the DPA and helping and the grant program. And I did get 2 responses for that with 2 names that were given. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that and pushing that out. So yes, definitely happening.
High five to you and very proud. That's amazing. So
Thank
some of you are thinking, well, I can't do that because my Moxie's not set up. Whack, whack, whack. Set up your Moxie. How do you do that? Go watch the classes. I mean, you got to take action at some point, right? You can't do these major things if you don't have your database set up. So the database is super, super, super important.
I got a question for Andrew. Andrew, what's your clarity? What are you doing this for? Because you didn't have to do this stuff. What made you do it this
Good
week?
question.
What's my clarity? Because I
Yeah.
have my vision, when I did my vision board, I have my quarterly goals that I want to achieve for my amount of money that I want to put a new kitchen for my mother in my investment property. That's going to happen.
Okay, let's get a little more clear.
Sure.
How much is that kitchen going to cost and what's it going to look like?
The kitchen's gonna cost me, I think, my cousin's a contractor, so he was here. He said about 15 to 20,000.
Okay, you put in new cabinets, you're going to repaint the ones that are there.
I'm gonna put in new cabinets, new countertop, take off, she has like the L shape, the island, take out the island, and new countertops, paint it, and new appliances.
Okay, that's getting clearer.
Mm-hmm.
What are the countertops? Are they Corian? Are they granite? Are they
We're gonna go with granite.
granite? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah,
cabinets white, are they blue? Are they gray?
definitely wants white.
White cabinets with countertop
Mm-hmm.
and 15 grand. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
it's not for you, which is the cool part.
Very
The
cool.
the feeling is for you.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. I wanted to do it for Mother's Day. I told her that's obviously not going to happen, but I did promise her for her birthday in October. So it's getting done.
Guys, that's what it's about right there. Clarity. She answered every question I asked. I didn't get down to the faucet type, but I bet you probably have that in mind too.
Oh, it's up to her. She's pretty picky. Get all the
That's even
calculus.
cooler. Mom, go pick out the faucets you want to put in your on your new sink. Is it a farmhouse sink or is it an inlaid sink?
I think
Me.
sometimes we miss some things with contacts. Like, so we're focused on new contacts, but a lot of us have buyers who are in their pipeline right now who need an extra little push. And I guarantee you, if you gave them this extra push of introducing them to like a down payment assistance program, if they could buy a home with nothing out of pocket, as opposed to having to put $15,000 out of pocket, do you think they might be a little more motivated to buy now rather than hemming and hawing over what property they're going to choose? You can get a lot of your buyers that are active right now that are, hey, they haven't made a decision. I've shown them 25 homes. Give them a different option, introduce them to this to see if it's something they might be interested in, because that might be the thing that pushes them over the edge to really go and pull the trigger right now. So we kind of miss that part of our follow-ups too. Every buyer in your pipeline should have this. Anybody who's doing OpCity, Zillow, Cartus, anything like that, if they're not already attached to a lender that brought us that deal, we should be putting that in front of them, because that might be the thing that really just changes the trajectory of them making a decision now or waiting.
Yeah, people will choose what's not perfect because they can get it. They'll make it perfect later. Especially in a market like this.
Especially then if you have a home that needs a little bit of work, now they have $15,000 more in their pocket they could go do that kitchen with. So now you can pick a home that's not quite perfect and use the extra money that they're going to keep in their pocket to make the renovation they wanted to make and make it perfect for them.
You know, I want to add to, great job, Lauren and Andrea. Andrea, you mentioned about, obviously we have low inventory. If you do have some buyers that are looking in community, like builders communities, there's set floor plans that you can put in MLS and you can hit those individuals up with CMAs and see if they're looking to purchase, because they may not know how much equity they have in their home. And just to piggyback on Chris, if they're looking to move and they don't have to put down any money or down payment assistance, there'll be a win-win for everyone. So I advise you guys to, you know, when you're prospecting, you know, and you have and you're in a builder's community and you're looking for certain floor plans, this would be a great idea just to knock on a door, drop a CMA over and have a conversation.
Yep. And
What's about?
if you need additional contacts on top of that, go into MLS and pull up the rentals. Look at anything that rented between 6 and 8 months ago. Anything that got leased in a specific neighborhood. Find a rental neighborhood that's a decent price and find anything that's rented 6 to 8, 6 to 10 months ago. And then go hand out these flyers in that neighborhood to all of the homes that leased out 6 to 8 months ago, because in another 2 to 3 months, they're going to be looking to either renew their lease or buy a home. And if you tell them that you can buy a home, hey, get your security deposit back, keep that in your pocket. Let me get you in the home with little to no money out of pocket. Like, you can find other opportunities and other people to talk to that could be very valuable resources.
That's
You
a
know, at the
great,
same time, you can also, those individuals that you just talked about, Chris, you can hit up the homeowners.
Absolutely.
Have
Now
that,
you
have
talk
that conversation with them. Say,
You-
"Hey, listen, I have someone that's interested in purchasing your home. right?
100%.
At the end
Oh,
of the lease.
we're thinking about buying this home. Great. That's amazing. Let me talk to the
Right.
owner. And by the way, look at this program that I have that could really set you up for your future and set you up for success here.
100.
Right, see, that's what I've been doing. I've been prospecting my pipeline and all of those buyers that have been on hold and waiting. And by sending out that DPA information to that sector, you're taking away their objection, because they've always, oh, well, we don't have enough for down payment. We're saving. I'm like, well, I'm taking that objection away. I've got that covered. So then they have nothing to say after that. And their ears are all open and they're ready to go. They're like, oh, well, let me have that number. You know, and then with that, those are all my clients on hold. And then with the other people I know that are sitting on a shit ton of equity, I send all that replay to. So there's a lot of farming to do within your own pipeline that are sitting on the fence, scratching their heads.
Mhm. That's our slogan, right? Empower, educate, encourage. And who better to do that to the people you've already done business with? Fantastic. How about a non-Brandon agent? No discount to the Brandon agents, of course. We're proud of you, Thomas, your team's doing well.
Other successes.
Hi, this is Elizabeth. How are you?
Hi, Elizabeth.
I wanted to share with you that I have sent out on social media that I created my own flyer regarding the down payment assistance,
Perfect.
and I got some responses on there. I was also given a referral to a brother that is looking to buy and is interested in this program. So I put them in contact with Brooke. I also have a past client. Well, she's not really a client, but she was a lead. And she had put her purchase of a home on hold. And she contacted me from this post. And she is now ready to buy in September. So she is talking to the lender, and hopefully she'll be buying a home in September. And I also talked to someone at a assisted living where my mother-in-law is at on Davis Island. And she contacted me actually because someone there, since I go visit, knows that I'm a realtor, gave her my information. She was just relocated here from, I believe, New Jersey. And she's the marketing director. So we
Ooh.
sat and had a meeting. And I'm helping her with rental right now, but she's on the fence about buying. I gave her this information about the down payment assistance. So we'll see where that goes. And she has a son that also needs to buy. But what's great, she's kept my business cards, and she will be, said she'll use me for people that need to sell their home to get into the assisted living. So I feel really good this week, and I think that great things are going to come out of this.
That's the game. That intention of great things are going to come from this is what's going to make great things come from this. And the action that you're taking is going to make sure that it happens. That's the game, guys. It's so simple. Clarity on something cool I want to happen in my life. The expectation that something great's going to come as a result of the actions that you take. That's it.
And you have to be certain about it. Like on a day like today, like I just sent this to somebody. I said, on a day like today, where it's cloudy and overcast and raining, I still am absolutely certain that the sun is shining behind those clouds. I know that it is. I know the sun is there. I know it's shining. Just because I can't see it doesn't mean that the sun is not there. And you need to have that level of certainty that good things are going to happen, that even when the shit comes up or the cancellations pop up, that this is the best thing that was meant to happen and the better things are coming from this. That's the level of certainty that you have to instill in yourself with your actions, with your beliefs, and with the goals and clarity and focus of the things you're after.
100%. Also want to call out, Elizabeth, you said, I've got a deal that's probably going to come out of this in September, right? That's turning on the faucet and letting the water run through the hose, but it's going to come out the other end, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping. So when you guys continue to do what we're doing right now, your April, this is April, your May, your June, your July. Ryan has come in and come out 4 times now. Your May, your June, your July, your August, September, that's what you're fueling right now. So if you turn off the faucet, what's going to happen in your May, June, July, and August? The water's going out. So it's just that consistent application. So congrats to you. Great job. Who else? Give us some successes. Success is not having a transaction. Success is doing the activities.
I'll
Ryan?
speak.
I was
Yep.
I was just gonna call and you said, hey, did you figure out what you do with 50 grand yet?
Yeah, so I did make some progress. I'm gonna tell you right now, what Jeff said on Monday, I took it personal. He said if you don't have any meetings, what's your excuse? You know, get out there and go do something. So I kind of took that personal, and so what I did this week, by the numbers, what I think I made to have 6. So I only counted the connections, actual connections.
Beautiful.
So as far as the calls, 6 connections with the calls, 6 connections with text, 3 connections with DMs, and 25 connections with emails. That's not including I think it was 95 emails 96 emails that I sent massive. And then I also, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, I created a Facebook page for a farm that I'm looking at working at, and I'm up to 120 subscribers now. So
Wow.
it's moving. The thing is that so I guess when I wanted to actually have more contacts this week, but yesterday kind of took me out a little bit because I was dealing with a meeting that went long. So I have a potential new buyer, and so some of the stuff is working. It was one of the ones that I was working on, like kind of back. I kind of took some information that both Chris and Jimmy told me very early on, about following up. So I followed up with them just to kind of check on, see what was going on. And he's like, yeah, I'm probably going to buy. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, he's like, I've reached out to one of the lenders that you told me to, and so on and so forth. And so we're moving forward probably around like next week, some time frame. I can know for sure whether or not we're going to move forward with a buy. So it's moving.
I want to correct the thought real quick, because you said it's working and it's moving. And it's word choices. You're working and you're moving. But I'm curious, what made you take this action? Because I talked to Chris about you, and you've got a retirement and your spouse works. So you got enough money, you're comfortable. So what happened in your world that you decided to say, shit, I'm going to do something else?
Well, for me, man, I got a really high drive. And for me, I have a goal of when I am 60, before my Social Security or anything like that kicks in. I want to be done with working, and I want to teach. So one of the things about it is that, like, when I look at it, I'm like, all right, cool. I want to do absolutely everything and go as absolutely hard as I possibly can to have as much information as possible, that when I do go to teach. So I have, 21 years of military experience. So I already know, how that goes. I already know how it goes in regular corporate life. But with this is it's entrepreneurship, and it's, building a brand from the ground up. So if I don't put my all into it, then when I go to explain this to, 20-year-olds or 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, when, when they come in and especially after dealing with so many people that have never done it and still go into teaching, and, they sit there and tell you, oh man, do this and do that. I can't remember how many classes I've sat through, and I'm like, dude, you've never done this. Like, you're just reading from text. So
Those who can do, those who can't teach, right?
absolutely. So I want to be, well-versed, have everything done, accomplished, never really have to worry about anything ever again. I want to make sure that my grandkids are covered for school. I want to be somewhere living about 4 to 5 months out of the year on the water, just chilling out. Me and my wife just kicking it. You know what I mean? So that's
It's a C I'm trying to make with my hand.
okay.
It's clarity, right?
Yeah.
You found it.
Yeah.
High five. Proud of you. That's awesome, dude.
Thank
I
you.
want to throw a suggestion out there because I love what you're saying. I think it's fantastic on there, and you're teaching right now, right?
Right now you are. That's right.
So think about that for a second. The audience and the platform, don't hold yourself to, because imagine documenting what you just said, right? And being accountable to that, to your tribe, right? Which will grow because it's a compelling message. And imagine if you documented what it would be like to have reached a level by the time you were 60, which is X number of years from now, and the steps you're taking to do this, and then the drunk monkey battles and the highs and the lows and the entrepreneurship, and the talk about how many people are in a position to see you as an inspiration to take them along with that journey, which it sounds like to me is an inspiration for you to teach other people to do what you're going to be doing. But you don't have to wait till you did it to teach them how you did it. You can teach them along the way with the journey, right? Which is an interesting just twist for you as you, because a lot of people want to support you on the way, right? That's the whole, look at this. That's what we do, right? We're all here just supporting each other and figuring out what's our clarity and pushing each other, empower, educate, encourage, and getting to where we're going. Right. So just stuck out to me as something that you might want to consider a little bit. From whatever social platforms you want, you will be an inspiration to a lot of people while you're going on the journey. It's never the destination, it's the journey, right? That's what a lot of people, we get messed up in our head. I'm going to be happy when I have this. You're not going to be. Right? You got to be happy today and enjoying the journey towards that. And once you get that, that's not going to be what you want either. You're going to tweak it and go for something else. So there's never going to be a got there moment, right? There's just not. Yeah. So it just tweaks, right? Even that kitchen is going to turn into something different than it is in the mind right now by the time it's done. But it's the journey of getting the resources to create the kitchen is the fun part, right? So, and a little semi off topic, but don't think it is. So that's the fun part to me. I've learned that it's not the goals. The goals, you hit them, and it's the journey. It's the creation for me, at least. It's the visioning, and then just watching things just come about as a result of your actions. Kind of fun. So great job. Great job.
Yes, fantastic.
All right. Any other success stories you guys want to chat out about? Because I want to talk about a roundabout success story. I think you've got one too, Craig. I was talking to somebody about investing, and we were talking, and he and his wife were chatting back and saying, man, I hear what you're saying with this equity. We're sitting on about $250,000 in equity, and we want to invest. It makes sense, but we can't do it. Why? Well, it's too much risk. I mean, we've been worked so hard, even though we didn't work hard to make the equity, we have the equity. And to take equity out on our home is scary, because what if we screw up? Then not only do we screw up and lose our investment property, but we screwed up and lost our homestead, and now we're wiped out and out of business and completely wiped out. Right? Interesting. Drunk monkey, but valid points, correct?
100%.
And a valid concern, and that's the reason why this person has not and likely will not do anything, and that's okay. But we have to be able to know that this is some of the thoughts. These are some of the thoughts that are in people's minds, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong. So you have to be able to appreciate where they're coming from, what they're thinking about, and then see if it still makes sense for them to do. Because we're fighting a drunk monkey battle here, because how many of you were raised to save money, right? I mean, you need to work hard, make money, and save some money, right? We've heard that was our mantra. And pay off your house. You'll work hard, pay that house off, you'll be free and clear, freedom, right? We've all heard this growing up. And what we're talking about is different. It's not right or wrong, it's just different. But for me, it's like, why in that? You did nothing but sleep and you made 200 grand. How could you not leverage that into something else? It doesn't make sense, right? To me, but I have different risk tolerance than some people do. And for me, it's a no-brainer to not roll that into something. Now you have to be smart with what you roll it into, which is a big point. But let's talk about that for a second. Does anybody else have that thought?
I do.
Okay. And I mean, it's a valid concern, and we're not the only ones thinking of it. Your customers. Have anybody ever had a customer say that to them with feedback about you pulling equity out of their homes?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. So let's discuss that, and let's talk about the validity of that statement, and let's talk about how do you handle that conversation when it comes up. Let's talk about that. What do you think?
Well, let's talk about something else. So outside of 2008 to 2013, when has it been a problem? I mean, I've lived in this house since 2000. I bought it for not a lot of money, built it. I refinanced it, pulled out 100 grand. I owned it for a couple more years. I refinanced it, pulled out 100 grand. I owned it for a couple of years and refinanced it and pulled out another 100 grand. So the house has already paid for itself. Remind them of that, right? We still have a stigma of 2008 to 2013 that said, holy shit, real estate, sorry. It's sad, it's going to crash. And it's hard to erase that theory, right? But what happened since 1991 till today for real estate values in Florida? Who knows the number?
400 and what?
28%.
428.
That's how much real estate has gone up in the long term. So I think the important part of the velocity of money, which we have a date for now, which I'll cover on Tuesday, because I don't have it in my mind right now. That's going to be a really important class for all of us to get and to bring our customers to, because we're going to set them up for long-term strategies, right? We're remembering that in 2005, we were all rich because we had equity in our houses. And what did we do? We went and bought more houses that were overvalued with no money down. And then the market crashed a little bit and we had no equity. You can't do that today. You're going to go on investment property today, you're 30% down, pretty much guaranteed, maybe 25. So the market has to drop 25% for you to be out of pocket.
Well, but you're just talking about values. And if you're buying an investment property, you got to think about why are you buying it? How are you buying it? What are you buying it for?
Yeah, it's yield, amortization, depreciation, and appreciation. And appreciation is the least important. Right? I want to get monthly cash flow. I want to take advantage of the tax savings. And I want to take advantage of somebody else paying down my freaking mortgage. So in time, it's worth, I've got no debt.
Right. So
That's
if-
a long-term strategy. People aren't thinking that way. So that's the message we have to get to.
Correct. So as long as you buy, my response was, as long as you buy something that is of value that other people want to rent, that pays you more than the money cost you, it doesn't matter what the market's doing.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter, because you're not buying this to sell this. You're not buying this to flip. I'm not saying buy a house, hold it for 6 months, pray to God it goes up 50 grand in value and flip it and make 30 grand on your 20% down money. I'm not talking about that. That's not what you should be doing. You need to find a house or a rental or a short-term rental or a duplex or something that brings in cash flow, because people need a home place to live or stay and they're willing to pay rent, right? And as long as you buy a decent house that's in a good area, that's in demand, that people want to be, that will make sense, then buy it. And if you don't have that, don't buy anything, right? That's the conversation. Now, is there always a risk of a nuclear war? Of course there is, right? Then we all have bigger problems when that happens. But the reality of it is, the investment that you make has got to be a smart investment, but you've got to be willing to take a little bit of a risk, because if not, you and your wife, this is the conversation, you're going to be in the exact same space that you are right now. A year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, you're not going to have anything that's growing. You're not going to have anything that's taking you guys any further. You're going to be living on your income. And nobody gets rich ever living off of your income. You cannot get rich off of your income. It's impossible, right? It's impossible. You have to invest it. You have to invest it. You have to make more than you bring in. And then the more that you bring in has to be placed somewhere smart so that can grow. It's the only way you're going to get comfortable and build wealth. The only way, right? So you have to have this conversation with yourself and with the people that you're dealing with, and have that conversation. Recognize that, yes, maybe there is something that we don't know that's going to happen next November that's going to massively disrupt the world. Maybe it's called risk. It's called who knows, right? But let's be as smart as we can to buy a house next to a really nice school district that we can get rent that costs more than it costs us to borrow the money to buy it with our down payment, right? I'm pretty sure schools will always be in demand. I'm pretty sure people are still gonna be having kids, and I'm pretty sure that's a pretty smart place, right? A beach. People are always gonna be wanting to go to a beach. If you can find a place that's pretty nice, that will cash flow, that people want to come stay, that will bring in more money than it costs you, that's a pretty safe place to put your money. That's it, right? So that's the conversations we have to be having right now, is recognizing that there's drunk monkeys. The drunk monkey is there because there's not clarity, right? With the investor, there's nothing that they want that's exciting enough to justify them to take a quote unquote risk, right? Life is okay. There's no need to do it. There's no driving force to get more or get better, right? There's just not. Let's just call it what it is. So our job has to sometimes go back to the beginning of clarity, focus, action, and accountability, right? Hey, Chris is my buyer. Do you really want to do this? Right? What do you want to do this for? What would you do with an extra $600 a month right now? Like, what would you literally do with that? What would you do with this house that's worth an extra 50 grand? What would you do with the appreciation? Well, you got to have what's the end in mind? Why are you going to invest? What's the reason? If it's not exciting and you don't have an idea, then don't do it. Don't do it. Stay where you are. You're fine where you are. Enjoy your life. But you're not fine where you are. You wouldn't be having dreams of something more. So let's just figure out, why do you have dreams of something more? What is the more that you dream about? And how do we do that? Or just admit that you don't want anything more and be happy with where you are because it's perfect also, right? Doesn't matter to me, right? That's the point. That's the conversation we need to be having is let's do it. And then they say, no, we really are tired of living like this. We wish an extra couple grand would really make a difference in our lives. We can put our kids in a different school. We can take care of mom. We can do whatever we need to go do. There's the clarity reason. Until you can uncover the clarity reason, you're not going to get anybody to do anything for themselves. It's not ever going to happen. So that's what I wanted to hit on this morning because it's a very real thought.
No, I think we need to address what the drunk monkey is telling everyone. Lauren just commented, the funny thing is when I sent out the replay, congratulations to you, by the way, for sending out the replay.
Mhm.
Several of my clients said they were sitting around thinking of investments, what investments they could make that would yield them real money since their IRAs and their 401ks are doing nothing. That's reality. I got my quarterly 401k statement yesterday. You know what my return was? Negative 15%. So putting my money into an IRA, you know, they all say, it's okay, keep putting it in and keep putting it in and keep putting it in because you're buying low, and the market's going to turn around someday. But the return is negative 15%. So know that's out in the marketplace too. So your customers that are planning their retirement around a 401k and IRA and the volatile stock market that's out there right now, they're stuck. Have you ever seen the stock gone to zero, Jeff?
Yep.
We've done a couple of those.
Yeah.
Actually, they went to below zero, but a house never goes to zero. Right? I was talking to a financial advisor the other day. He says, Greg, it's a good investment because worst case, if the market goes down 20%, you're putting 30% down. You won't lose you'll lose some of your down payment, but you're not going to lose your ass. Right? Because we've leveraged it. And that's kind of the key.
Most people don't realize the risk that they take every day. We have a lot of people that say they're not risk takers. I'm not a risk taker. I like to be a little bit more conservative with those things. I don't take a lot of risks, but I'd love the opportunity to prove them wrong because you take risks every single day. You take a risk every single time you hop in your car and you drive out on that road. Every single time you drive down the road, you risk somebody else coming over that yellow line and crashing into you head on. And the probability of a car crash is 1 in 366 for every 1,000 miles that you drive. 1 out of every 366 cars for every 1,000 miles you drive. And most of us drive more than 1,000 miles a year. What's the probability of foreclosure in the state of Florida?
Oh, God.
1 in every 3,964. So
good research,
you're
Chris.
taking greater risks of death by getting into your car and driving than you would be of making an investment in real estate. But most people, you are a risk taker, but you create a level of certainty and clarity about what you are doing when you're taking those actions, when you get in your car and drive your car, when you walk across the street, when you go anywhere. And we can create that same level of clarity and focus for them buying a home when we give them the information that they need. They just haven't taken the time to do it. And they avoid it because it's fearful for them. So show them that, you know, you are a risk taker and let me show you how we can mitigate some of those risks.
Natalia said, wow, you had those stats on deck. Wow.
I've got a brain that it's full of useless information. I can walk into a bar and do trivia and I do any trivia that comes there and probably come close to coming out on top, but I know all the useless stats.
That's a great example though, Chris, because you had to have clarity and focus to get into your car, right? You said, I'm going to go here today, right? And you said, I'm going to do it. And you actually did things to prep you to get to where you're going.
Follow the system.
Right? And then had some blind faith. I have a lot of blind faith. We have a lot of blind faith that the guy on the other side of the line isn't having a crappy day and doesn't want to end his life.
Yep.
Right. And
Yep.
we have blind faith that he's not on his phone right now. And we have a blind faith that he's going to stay on his side of the line. And we're both going 70 miles an hour. There's a lot of blind faith that you do every single day because you had clarity and you follow the system and you took some action. Okay. Same, great reframing on that one. But from an investment standpoint, same thing. But you've got to get them to the clarity, guys. You got to get to the clarity because money sitting around right now is devaluing. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to this, but if you have money in your bank account, it is worth less today than it was yesterday, and it will be worth less next week than it is today. It will be worth less a month from now and 6 months from now than it is today, just not doing anything with it, sitting in there. It is devaluing.
And what causes that? Starts with I.
Inflation, and it's not under control, and it's not going to get under control, and it's guaranteed to not get under control because the government is spending trillions of dollars on military spending in war. And anytime you print money, it's impossible to stop inflation. There's no end to it in the near future, within years, within range. It's not going to happen. So your money is going to be worth less. So put it somewhere where it's at least not going to lose money, right? Somewhere, leverage it out. I mean, I don't know about you, but I like to put 20% down on an asset. I'd love to put $200,000 down and get $1 million asset. That's called smart. I know what you can do with your money. And if you don't have 200 grand, all of us should pitch in together and put 200 grand together, form a little company and save our money, right? And invest things. That's the whole point, guys. You've got to look smartly about the economy and our finances. We got to do something with that money, especially free money that was given to us in our sleep. That's the point of what we're talking about, guys. And that's going to really help us a lot along the way. Craig, let's talk about your investor buddy.
I want to read this one first, and then we'll go into that. So what about this objection? A couple of my clients have said that the HELOC has guidelines that say they must draw 75% of the approved amount at close. And since the line is only open for a determined period of time, what if the approval amount isn't enough to purchase a good property that will pay for itself and the additional HELOC payment? Bullshit. I've got a HELOC. I've had a HELOC on my home for 7 years.
Well, first off, I closed on one and they made me take $10,000 when I closed on it. They said, we have to, we're going to pay for your appraisal. We'll pay for the closing costs. We'll pay, but you have to take 10 grand out right away. Said, okay, can I pay it back the next day? She said, yes. So I paid it back the next day and paid just a very, very minor. So some banks are requiring that when you close on your HELOC that you do draw on it and put that into the savings account, but you can pay it back right away. There's no requirement. Just make sure that there is no requirement for them to keep that out and make certain amount of payments. That's the first part.
I will pull some money out of my HELOC and put it in my checking account for a week or two and then put it back in. Just to make sure they know I'm alive.
And if you don't do that, they can come to you and close that at any time if they decide to.
Yeah.
So sometimes it is a good thing to pull it out for a short period of time and put it back to show that you're using it.
Mm-hmm. But these are regular questions. It's good. Okay, so here's my deal. So I've got an attorney friend of mine who says, Craig, I'm interested in your investments. I sent him a link to thebeachprojects.com. And he's a very wealthy attorney, lives in Mirror Bay. We ran the financials for him. It's $1 million down. That's a little scary. $1 million down. The mortgage payment's only $28,000 a month. Did you hear that? The mortgage payment is $28,000 a month. The rental projections from the property management company are $38,000 a month. Some months are going to be better than that. Some months are going to be less than that. So we analyze that investment and it turns out to be a 13.7% return, which meets that yield category we're looking for, assuming a lot of things. And then he went through and said, oh, wait a minute, this is a construction loan. So I've got to pay interest payments for 2 years on the money as it's drawn. So it's a $2 million construction loan. So I'm going to pay interest on $2 million, a little bit at a time as it grows over time. And then in order to actually rent the house, he's got to put furniture in it. So he's got to furnish a 9-bedroom, 8.5 bathroom house with towels and forks and knives and beds and sofas and pretty nice stuff if you're going to rent it for, $2,000 a night. So now he's freaking out. So what do you do with that?
He shouldn't buy, right? Because the question goes back to what do you want to invest for? You're a rich attorney. Do you even need any more money? And the answer is no. Then why don't you just keep calling your bank account and listening to the bank balance in your account, make yourself feel better. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the reality of it. That's it. Because there's so many other aspects to it. So first of all, is 13% a pretty decent return? Then where else are you putting your money getting a 13% return? So that's one thing.
And that doesn't account for depreciation and cost segregation analysis and all the other stuff.
This happens to be, this is one of the Pelican houses, by the way, so you guys know who do this. So you get a $480,000 cost segregation hit year one, right? Which means you get to not pay taxes on $480,000 worth of or income for number one.
Which is probably in close to a 40% tax bracket. So that's $160,000 in savings in year one.
Right, so there's that. Plus, if this does bring in $500,000 a year, which I think it's going to bring in more, but I can't sell it off of that, then you guys have been doing this long enough. If a house is bringing in 50,000 gross in income, what's it worth? 500 grand. If it's bringing in $75,000 a year, it's worth 750. If it's bringing in $100,000 a year, it's worth $1 million. If it's bringing in $500,000 a year, what's it worth?
5 million.
5 million. And he's buying this house at 3.6 million bucks. Right? It's going to be worth 5 million based on the cash flow. He gets $120,000 tax benefit year one. Plus, might it appreciate? Maybe what's 3%? Simple, normal appreciation on 4 million bucks.
120,000 a year.
$120,000, $120,000 a year. Right, on top of all these things. So all of these things line up, that's a good thing. The reality is that he doesn't feel comfortable putting out that much money. Right? If he did, there's not another investment that you can find that will do this.
Well, let's go deeper because that's not the one. We've done that.
But that's do you guys all follow this? Right? It goes back to clarity. If the guy's got $1 million sitting around, right, he's not dumb, right? Most of the time, there's exceptions to every rule, but he doesn't need cash to live off of. He's not going to need something to eat. So, but he's looking for a good, safe place to put his cash. Safe, right? It being the key word on that.
Yeah,
So
but then he sends me a message that says, hey, while the first estimate of 23 quarter one GDP is a pleasant 2%, what does that mean? If GDP goes up, are we in a recession or not? The answer is no. Recession by definition is 3 consecutive quarters of negative decline, a negative GDP. So quarter one of 23 is up 2%. And then it says, do not be deceived. First, growth is decelerating from 3.2% and 22 quarter three to 2.6% and 22 quarter four. Moreover, the monthly data suggests that economic growth was very strong in January, essentially flat in February, and was negative in March. As a result, as we head into quarter two, with negative momentum, a rate hike on the horizon, and a rate hike is on the horizon, and reduced bank lending is likely. So when you hear news like that, what does it make you think?
He's looking for monkey food. Right? I mean, because really, is there a market? There's no market. He's talking about the global GDP, United States of America, economic growth indicators for the future. Right? Great.
You
Great.
and I were at the Don Cesar yesterday.
Yep.
After spring break. How many people are at the pool?
Oh, there were a ton.
Like there wasn't an empty seat. How many people were at the bar
And it's a Wednesday.
on a Wednesday? How many people at the bar?
Thursday, yeah. There
Full.
wasn't a seat, right?
But then even if you go to the global scale, global economy, GDP and all of that, there's companies that were started and thrived during those recessionary crashing economic times.
Like
So there's
Uber.
companies that were started and thrived during those times. So it doesn't matter what's going on there. If you have the right tools, the right resources and the right people and the right clarity and focus, you're going to make it happen.
And it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant when you're buying something that makes sense, right? Even if we go into a recession, are people still going to go on vacation? Yes or no? Yes. They're going to not go to Panama on a cruise. They might not go take the Mediterranean river cruise for 2 weeks. They might not go down to, right, the Caribbean to charter a yacht, but they'll likely load up the minivan from New Jersey and come down to Florida, right? So that's why you got to be smart on your investment. What can you buy that's insulating, right? Because that's why I put the values where I put them. A $25,000 income property is worth $250,000. 50,000 is 500, 100,000 is $1 million, 200,000 is 2 million, 500,000 is 5 million, right? That's just that's just, no matter what the economy is doing, that's the value of that cash flowing asset, right? I don't care what the real estate market's doing, because we're not selling a house, we're selling a cash flow stream, right? In property. And this is, it's tough, right? Because anybody who wants to have an escape to not do something, there's always justification to do that, right? So it goes back down to clarity. 100% goes back down to clarity, because it is so easy to do nothing, guys. I'm a great example. We just bought the Bank of America building right here in Madeira Beach, closing on it Monday, right? $2.8 million on a piece of dirt, right? That we have to build stuff on. It's going to take 2 years by the time we're meeting with architects right now to build 40 condos, 42 condos, and 12,000 square foot of retail and some office buildings and a 4-story parking garage, right? I don't have to do this. I'm going to eat if I don't do this. I actually have to take a chunk of cash out of my decelerating bank account, which I'm happy to, I would need to, I got to find, it makes me sick to have cash in my account that it's worth less today than it was yesterday. So I need to get it out of there somewhere. So where else can I put it? So now in my mind, I'm like, shit, are we going into recession? Are people ever going to do this? Maybe I don't need to. I don't have to. We could have got out of the contract, but we didn't, because I know what I'm investing in, and I know where I'm investing, and I know that we're building. I'm very into the scene, if you so to say, and I know what's missing in the market and what's going to be absorbed and what doesn't cannibalize and what we still need to go do, right? So those are the things. I could have easily not done this, but my clarity, right, of what I'm looking to create for myself and my lifestyle forced me through to ignore those headlines. I see them. I'm not dumb, right? I clearly see, I watch the economic indicator. I look at the stock market. I see forecasts. I get it, right? But it doesn't matter, because the facts are, I know that I can build a piece of property for this $1 a square foot. I know that they'll sell for this $1 a square foot, and I don't care about the market, because what am I building it on? These are short-term rental properties. 100%. I will not do a condo right now. I will do a condo that has nightly rental possibilities, because I know that the cash flow nightly projected rates on these things, very conservative, are going to be worth way more than it costs us to build, right? So that's smart. I'm doing that just an example for you guys, because I have to go overcome my drunk monkey to do all the stuff I do too. And if the clarity isn't stronger than the negative drunk monkey, then I would sit exactly where I am, right? But I can't, because the clarity is stronger. Does that make sense? Right. So
Jeff, I have a question. I have a question for you. How much rental are those Pelican properties going to be bringing weekly?
10 to 15 grand a week.
Wow. Okay. So they have a family that wants to go somewhere. What's it going to cost a family if they have to go to a hotel and get 2 or 3 rooms? Because there's only one.
Well, this is 3 families.
Better than that. This is 3 families staying together, traveling as a group.
3
Right.
families, 2
It's
room
9
hotels
hotel rooms,
together.
$500 a night. They'd be paying $4,500 a night versus $2,500 a night.
Right.
Right. But I'm saying if they didn't have that available, they have to go to a hotel
That's
and
what they have
rent
now.
3 rooms for their family and
And
not be
then-
together.
That's right. And then you look at other markets, like this is good conversation, right? Just so, because we're talking about investing. So when I designed the Pelican houses, right, then I designed them because I did a lot of research, and I noticed the Margaritaville cottages and doing extremely well. The large ones, we all been there. We did our top agent stuff there. And then I started doing research up in the 30A, up in Rosemary Beach and up in Destin and that whole region. And there is a plethora of 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 bedroom houses up there. That's the whole freaking market. And they're worth $5, $6, $7 million, not even on the water. Right. I mean, if you
Just like in Reunion,
on
just like
Zillow
in
right now.
Reunion.
Go on
Mhm.
Zillow right now and go check out Rosemary Beach.
Yeah, go look for Rosemary Beach, will make you sick.
Yeah, $5, $6, $7 million houses off water that are smaller than what we're building on the water in the middle of the attraction area. So I
And
have
when-
no doubt
and
that they're
when-
gonna produce cash flows.
And when we were working in the Sandalwood Hotel project, I can't tell you how many people came in looking for more than 2 or 3 rooms for their families to stay in, and they're not all together. They're not all combined.
Right.
So they were really stuck. So this really is a good idea.
Right.
All right,
So-
we've deviated. It's 9:26. Let's
Oh,
get back.
sorry.
Well,
That's
so the deviation is important, I think, because.
It is though, because the drunk monkey
back
is
to
controlling
clarity.
everything, ourselves and our customers. We need to address it.
If clarity is not greater than the drunk monkey, you will be broke. Right? And that's the reality of our business. So we need to do an internal check. Maybe not broke, but you're not going to be any further than you are today. So when we think about who are we going to talk to today, it's raining, it's wet, it's windy, right? There's all kinds of excuses for today too. If your clarity is stronger, like Andrea exampled first thing when we started today, she's going to go make more contacts because she's excited to see her mom's face in the brand new kitchen. Right. So that's the whole point. If the clarity is not there, guys, you're not going to do it. So this is the time to reassess your clarity and what are we doing this for? What is the lifestyle you're building towards? And today is the step to take towards that. So this is just Friday, right? This is just the 3/4 way. We end on Monday from week to a week. So if you didn't hit your contacts this week, you got today, you got tomorrow, you have Sunday, and you're going to feel a hell of a lot better when you hit them.
Yep. And a shout out to Ryan for finding his clarity. I think that's awesome and amazing. So, and that's what made him get up and go do what he did.
I also, shout out to Ryan as well, because leading by example is huge. And I understand where you're coming from. You walk the walk. When you teach it, it's more valuable. So kudos to you and good luck. You know, I believe you got it in you because you got the military background in you. So you know what discipline is. So just stay focused and, and surround yourself with like-minded people. And to Craig, you mentioned about your lawyer friend. If your lawyer friend has doesn't want to put up $1 million, I mean, I believe he has associates that he probably can get with, and they can just maybe go, and as 4 of them or 3 of them, and perform the LLC and make that happen. So it's less of a risk in some ways, and with the money factor. So there's ways to do it. We just have to, show them to continue building, show them the value, and it's going to be a win-win for them. Because when you think about the money putting down, and you think about the construction interest, and also the putting the furniture and stuff like that, they're going to be out, a couple of hundred more. So at the end of the day, I think just maybe like Jeff said earlier, or I think it was Chris, I don't know which one, having 4 people do an LLC and put it together and make it happen.
And guys, if you guys ever want to do that, let me know. If you guys all want to kick in on something together, I just want you guys to do some cool stuff.
Get the taste.
Right? If you ever do want to, let me know, because I could do stuff all the time, and we always bring in equity partners on stuff. So if you don't want to ever jump onto something solely, let me know. Right? We do stuff like that. So, but clarity. If you don't have the clarity, you're not going to be willing to take the risk.
And I think the ultimate thing we're talking about is, okay, you've got drunk monkeys that are keeping you from doing what you want to do. So do your customers. So if you're going to be an effective salesperson and lead them through what we're talking about, you've got to understand what their drunk is telling them, and then, overcome those objections. And I think we did a good job of talking about all those things today.
All right. So remind us, what is our task for the week, Craig?
10 connections a day, saying basically, hey, I've got a lender who's got zero down payment loan that doesn't need to be repaid. And by the way, we still have low inventory. People I don't know. Who do you know who's thinking about buying or selling real estate? It's a pretty simple message, right? And a lot of you have had amazing successes with it.
Yep. And you have till Monday to continue it going, and then we'll have another good task for us on Monday.
Yes, we will.
So makes it a great day. Go kick some butt, go talk to people. Go look at your clarity, guys, and really, really, really make sure that it's exciting. If it's not, tweak it, make it exciting. It'll change everything. Oh, and Wednesday, mark your calendar for Wednesday from lunchtime. We've
Oh,
got
that's right.
our friend Matthew Ferry is gonna do a lunch with us. 12 to 1. So block that off, and it's about the manifestation of what we're talking about as far as getting clear and bringing the things to you and overcoming the drunk monkeys and everything here. It's gonna be an epic hour. So we'll send out an email about that this morning, but just block it out right now. Just block it out in your calendar. And even in your car listening to Zoom, whatever you do, that's what we did during lunch hour, because every one of us has a legit reason to block that out. So there you go. That's Wednesday.
If
Thank
not,
you, guys.
reschedule whatever you got and pay attention. So I'll send it up this morning.
Cool.
All right. Happy Friday. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.